Howdy, 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 and good evening. Thank you for joining me here on this October the 27th, 2023, Friday night, and it's 8 p.m. Chad, how we doing tonight, bud?
Good, Paul. Thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you for joining me. As you all know, Chad's pretty much part of the family here, so we just, like having Chad on. I know I haven't been doing a lot lately online or on YouTube, and that's because I have been behind the scenes working on some stuff and trying to get some things figured out. There's been a few things going on that I think are quite questionable. And be honest, when I talk to people who know things about it, they tell me, this is definitely something to do with Scientology or OSA. So I decided I need to share it. I'm going to be coming out with a longer stream here real soon. I'm waiting on some documentation to come back, but I'll be joining Aaron Smith Levin live once we have that paperwork, and we'll be simulcasting it on both his channel and mine. But it's just been pretty interesting stuff. And Shell would like to know how the werewolf game went.
Oh, thanks for asking. It was a lot of fun. I was eliminated pretty early on, but it was Kelly Copters running like a Halloween game.
Is it one of those where one person is supposed to be something and everybody has to guess who it is?
Yep.
Yeah, I think there was my kids used to play an online game like that called One of Us or something like that. And it was basically the same thing where they had animated characters and everything, and they had to choose who was the alien that was there to destroy them all.
That's funny.
And, yeah.
It was yeah.
Go ahead.
It was sorry. It was funny because Kelly asked a question like whatever it was, like who's the doctor, and I wasn't supposed to physically say it. I was supposed to put the sign up and say it, but I did the sign, and I also said I think I said it, I was. So it's kind of funny. No one else was supposed to hear me. So I think
they're supposed to be able to ask you like one question at a time or something like that. Yeah, it's I've seen that stuff before. So we've got a lot of folks in here. I saw Joel McCoy's up in here, Dumbo Octopus. We've got of course Shell's here, Marshawn's here, Stephanie C, Local Color. Hey, been a little bit. Glad to see you back. Douglas Builderback. So and Susie Q. So great to see you folks. It's been just a pretty interesting couple of weeks for me. As a lot of you know from my prior live streams or interviews that I've been doing, or when I went on other channels, probably about 6 months ago, I noticed that there was someone following me where I was going. And for those who don't know, my wife has a courier service, and I help her out with that quite a bit. And the route that I help her with takes me down into northwestern Ohio. Takes me about an hour down into Ohio from where we live, and then work my way back, and then I'll go about an hour north of Detroit to drop everything off. But what's really interesting is I started noticing a particular car. And being a retired police officer, we're always conscious of things around us. And so I started noticing the same car would show up here, and then it would show up in Toledo, or it would show up south of Toledo, or places that you normally wouldn't expect to see your neighbors showing up at. And so, I made sure to take a look at the license plate on this vehicle and just see what I could figure out about it. I wasn't running the plate or anything. Just, you can learn things from license plates, the county they're from, things like that. So I see the license plate on it, and I realize that it's a rental car. It's not, someone's personal car. I then started seeing it down the street from my house. And so, tying everything together, I'm just like, yeah, there's something going on with this. And I made sure to, let all my neighbors know, hey, this car's been following me. I don't know what's going on with it, but, if you see them, just let me know. And I got a call from a neighbor of mine a few doors down, went down behind the properties, came out, met up with the driver of the car as he's sitting there with a camera with a huge, I don't know, telephoto lens. I don't know what you call them. Just one of those great big lenses you put on the front of the old style cameras. And hey, Mojo, what's going on, brother? And so had a nice long talk with this person. Found out that they were actually a private investigator. Uh, Found out who they claimed to have been working for. And then when I spoke to some people, they're like, "Oh yeah, well they work with Scientology." Well, these, from people that would know. I don't know. I don't know all of the different ins and outs of who the COS works with, or any of those things. But after that, things seemed to have cooled down quite a bit. And then probably about 2 weeks ago, I started noticing some strange things, like with my emails. I would notice that emails would disappear that had been there before. Case in point is on my Poe on the Go email account. I had been sent I'd been sent some paperwork by Apostate Alex, which is no longer in my email. I read it, didn't delete it. It should be sitting right there, but no, it's gone now. So I started looking into, what's been going on. Why is my email doing this? Let's see. Yeah, Marjan says, thinks people forget that I'm a retired police chief and I know what I'm doing. But, in some cases, I don't think they even care. So I got in touch with some friends of mine, and it may look a little different on here tonight than it does normally. I'm on a different computer, and that's because my main computer is being worked on by a gentleman who I guess you would call him a forensic IT specialist, and he's getting IP addresses, things like that. So we're in the beginning stages of going into the investigation, diving deep into my personal computer and seeing who's been trying to get into my computer, where they're coming from, what their IP addresses are, and all that. And this guy's pretty top notch. He's one of those folks that he found his way into the world of forensic IT work by having been someone who was a hacker when they were young themselves. So this guy knows his stuff. He weighs maybe 120 pounds, soak him wet. And he just, you talk about people, someone who looks like your typical nerd. That's what he looks like. And he loves it. He holds that brand pretty close to heart for him. So I'm not saying anything embarrassing or insulting about him. So, first thing is that he looked at, he went into my computer. He knows ways of getting into computers. I have no idea what's going on with it. And he looked at me and he goes, "Yeah, it looks like someone's been trying to hack into your computer." So he has it now. And my response was, trying. If they're deleting emails that I have, they're more than trying. So we're working on a few things on that level. And then 2 days ago, was it 2 days ago, Chad?
Roughly 2 days ago, I believe we talked. Yep.
Yeah, I think it was probably it might have been Tuesday. I don't know if it was Tuesday or Wednesday, but I got a phone call, and it was from one of the departments that I had worked for previously, and spoke with them momentarily. And then I got a phone call from another department that I worked for. And the crazy thing is that they both asked me pretty much the same question. And I'll paraphrase it for you. The first call I get is, "Hey, are you being sued?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know." And they said, "Well, someone filed a FOIA requesting all of your personal information. They wanted to know about arrest histories." All right, Joel. They want to know about arrest histories, criminal complaints. They want to know about citizens' complaints against me. They want to know about, everything going on with me. And that was all part of their email they had sent. When I got the second phone call, it was, "What the F is going on, Poe?" And it's from a person that I know very well. And it's not insulting or shocking or harmful that they would say something like that. But that was her response is what's going on? Why? Someone sent us an email with a FOIA request, and they were asking for all the same things. So, and it's funny because the response that she had for it was, there's nothing to give them. So basically their response was to this email was, and this is what was told to me, was that I had retired in good standing, and that as of this time, I am still considered a pillar of the community. And that's as far as they went with it. But that was pretty much. And then the other one notified me that they wouldn't be sending out any information from my personnel file after speaking with legal department. And so they're not playing with that. That I found it very interesting that these things happen the way that they did. You know, first we start off, we've got someone that we know that's following me around. And when I confront them, the next thing is now I find that someone's trying to hack into my computer. And if that's not getting them where they need to go, because here's the thing is when I finish using my computer, I know a lot of people don't do it. They just let the computer keep running. With me, I turn off my internet, my Wi-Fi, so my computer isn't connected to Wi-Fi, and then I shut my computer down. And yeah, it could be a little bit of pain in the butt, but the new computer that I've got is a new gaming computer, so that thing starts up like a flash, so I don't have to worry about it. But those are things that you got to do just to keep yourself from being victimized. And I don't hardwire my computer anymore to the internet like I used to. That was pretty much the best connection you could get. But the problem is that you hardwire it. And a friend of mine was telling me that that's the way that you can actually end up getting yourself hit, is by someone doing that. So, and I put that down there, folks. Thing is, please do not do super chats, because every daggone episode that I put out gets hit with a community guideline violation. And if you pay for a super chat, it's not going to get to me. And that's because for some reason, I've still never been paid for all of the super chats that I've had in the past. So that's what's going on with that. It's just, it's a pain in the butt, but that's how you got to do it. Let's see. Shell, it's not illegal to hire PIs or to do a background check, but definitely illegal to hack into a computer. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of they have. And that's the thing. And you are 100% correct. It is absolutely legal to hire a private investigator. I mean, they're a private individual, private organization. They are for hire for private purposes. I don't even know. I don't have a Cash App, I can tell you that. PayPal, I don't even know what it is. I think it would just be under my email address.
I think he means because Scientology wants to know, Poe.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, I I mean, I put my actual channel email address. I think that's what it would be under. I don't know if it'd be something different or not, but that's enough to. Here's the thing. As with the departments that they contacted and they sent these FOIAs in for, that do they think this is going to somehow scare me, shock me, frighten me? What do you think, Chad?
Right. I just, in my opinion, they just can't help themselves.
I have no idea. I mean, and the fact is I've always looked at myself as more of an outsider on the fringe of the SPTV community. I speak about a lot of things that go on within Scientology, but I also speak about a lot of other things. And with over 100 channels, I've been doing a lot of collaboration work with people like Mark Fisher. I've worked with Aaron Smith-Levin. And the thing is that Chad can tell you, I'm working on some content that is not Scientology based or have anything to do with Scientology. And I'm trying to leave more leeway to the channels that are out there doing Scientology work, that are the actual people who've been in, they're the people who've blown, those kinds of things. I want to let them have their voices be heard. And I've been you know, I just couldn't understand why they be coming after me, but it always comes back to two things. It's either Aaron Smith Levin or Vanessa LaRose. And then now we have Russell Miller thrown into the mix. So I think I might have ruffled a few feathers there with that. But the fact is that I'm not, I don't back down. I don't threaten. You know, my wife knows me, my kids know me, they know who I am, they know what kind of person I am. I don't back down or threaten. The departments that I've worked for, if you're trying to dig up dirt on me, good luck. Here, I'll put it out here for you right now. Got suspended a year into my job for an accident that I was in, received a suspension for it. Let's see, fast forward 12 years later, I was suspended for an accident that was then cleared up because it was discovered upon the investigation by the state police that I was not at fault in the accident. Going down a road, someone comes off the side street and T-bones you. I don't think that there's a whole lot you can do there to avoid that. And let's see, as for citizens' complaints, with my department in the first department I worked with, 25 years with that department, 3 citizens' complaints against me. All 3 were ruled invalid. So what else do you want to know? I mean, I could list for you all my training and everything that I've done. It's just going to be a bit crazy to try to go down that list. And I don't think we have enough time to keep everybody watching. So, good luck. And asking for my medical information through a Freedom of Information, come on, they're not going to give you that stuff. Oh yeah, I can tell you. I'm doing everything the proper way. I have filed FOIAs to get copies of the FOIAs that were sent in to get my information, and I'm also trying to find out who the payment for those FOIA requests was being made by. So I'll have all that information. That's what I'm waiting for right now. Let's see. Hey, Dave, what's going on, brother? Dave from Gotta Love Thailand. That's my buddy over there. He got a great channel. If you get a chance, make sure you pop over and check him out. Let's see here. All right. Due to the subject, if it feels a bit wrong to say, but wanted to say I'm just lurking in the bushes. Yeah, I can understand. Yeah. 2 a.m. dinner. Wow. Yeah. You're going to get, that eating just before you go to bed. You know what happens with that. Let's see here. Joel McCoy. I have a very close friend, worked for the state police 24 years. He told me it is impossible to go through a career without at least one suspension. Yeah, I know a couple of people that have, but I mean, my first suspension, I deserved it. I was responding to a man with a gun call, and I admitted to the fact that yes, the accident was a single vehicle accident. It wasn't an accident where I hit another car or anything like that. So the thing it was my fault. I caused it, and I took my punishment for it. I mean, why even try to hide it? Let's see. Question: could there be someone watching now here on YouTube? Yeah, most certainly. There's no doubt to that whatsoever. And then if OS isn't watching the streams, they'd be stunned. Yeah, I would too. Yeah, Joe. It's a very, very. I mean, if they're going to that length where they're going into my email accounts, things like that, then the fact that they would be watching these is almost a certain. Especially when there'd be things that I say on here that are brought up by other people in other places, and sometimes they're almost exact quotes. Other times they're a paraphrase of what I've said. So yeah, somebody's watching somewhere. That's all there is to it. Oh, start acting like you are from Eastern Kentucky with a 12 or 10 gauge shotgun. I claim being from Kentucky. I don't worry about it. If someone's going to take their time out and do these things, then what can I do to stop it? Okay, what I can do is I've got this guy going through my computer. He's going to pick it apart. This is the kind of guy that hackers go to for advice. So I know he's worked for a multitude of departments. He's a real good guy, and he knows pretty much everything he's going to need to know. He's going through it with a fine tooth comb. He's going to find the IP addresses. I was speaking with another YouTube content creator who's part of the SPTV community, and they were telling me they've had almost 21,000 attempts to hack into their website. So it's not unusual. Okay, then I will say hello and good luck. It's not going to happen for you. No, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. You know, that's just how it is. I just feel bad that because someone may be an innocent person that has been hired by an organization that they know little to nothing about could face criminal jail time for hacking someone's computer. And the thing is that the person I've got looking into it, as far as I know, because of their employment, they're going to have to make notification to the proper people once they find out who's been hacking my computer. Now, I watched this guy one time when we were doing a case. He actually ran through 42 different VPN, or I don't know what you'd call them, where they would bounce it off different cities around the world. And he walked through 42 of them till he got back to the actual originator of it. So, I watched him do that in just a matter of minutes. So, got a VPN, got something like that. You think that's going to protect you? Good luck. This he's a prodigy. He scares me. But, I have to talk to him about maybe getting that Disney Plus while I'm at it. So, no, I'm kidding. I don't want that. Let's see. GF got a COS postcard many addresses away from her encounter decades ago. I expect I was fair gamed. Well, that's the thing is that, it's and talking with people like Aaron, Mark Fisher, Karen and Jeffrey, it's not so much about the fact that they're doing the investigation or the other things. It's about making it loud enough and making sure that they're doing it. As part of the text says, make it a loud public investigation. So it's I'm surprised it's happening to me because to be honest with you, like I said before, I think I'm way too small of a fish in this pond. But and not to toot my own horn, but getting Russell Miller on here was a huge thing because he doesn't do a lot of interviews anymore. And I think he's pretty much done with the whole talking about what happened when he wrote his book on L. Ron Hubbard. And the thing is that to get him, plus he's in his 80s. So, to me, it was extremely important that we got his voice out there and we let people see him and hear what happened to him, what he found out, because this is something that needs to be put out there for the ages. And if you have an Audible account or an Amazon Prime account, you can go right on there. I downloaded it myself. It was a free download. So you can check that out. It's a really eye-opening book about Lafayette Ron Hubbard. So let's see, Joel. Unique conduit for truth. Recent guesses, the COS feels you are a danger, and they are right. That's the thing is that I try to come in with a very open mind, and Chad can tell you is oftentimes, a lot of people when they interview people for their programs, they'll sit down with them, go over a list of things that they want to talk about, and things like that. I'll generally have a list of things that I want to bring up, but I don't generally give it to my guest. I will keep it to myself, and then I'll ask them. I won't go over the questions beforehand because I want a raw answer from them, and I want to have a genuine reaction to what it is that they're telling me. And I think that's one of the things that makes me a little bit different than some of the people that you'll see. And I love doing it that way because I want to be shocked just as much as the audience wants to be shocked. I want to find things out and go, what? Are you crazy? So those are the kinds of things that, make it a little bit different, and I try to present a truthful, honest conversation or a truthful statement when I'm putting things out. So if you'll notice, a lot of times I will think about things before I'm saying them. My brain's constantly going. So I will. Let's see. Oh, okay. Um, okay. So I think I'll send it to Chad in private chat. I think I know who that is. And Chad, you can confirm or deny.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. As a matter of fact, if that's who I'm thinking it is, I've been waiting for you to get back around here. I've been wanting to get hold of you. So, but I'm on, jumping between computers and everything else that's going on. Things slip your mind. But when I'm trying to say things, I try to be as open, honest, but I also want to be considerate. I want to be transparent in as much as possible. That's why, I sit right here and tell you what's in my personnel files. I'll tell you things that I've done. Someone asked if, one of them asked if I had, they wanted mugshots and arrest records and things that, I've never been arrested, folks. The only time I've ever been in trouble with the police, I was 14 years old and got a ticket on a moped for going through a stop sign. And that was because I was looking at something else and didn't even see the stop sign. It was my stupid mistake. And had there been another car going through, I probably could have killed myself doing that. All right. Got the ticket, went home, told my mom. I told my mom, not my dad, because I didn't want the beating if I told my dad. But told my mom. She said, "Okay, well, here's the court date. We're going to go down there, and you're going to take care of it." So we went down there. I went in front of a judge, and at 14 years old, first time ever seeing that kind of stuff. Talk about scaring the daylights out of you. But yeah, how do you plead? I did it. I don't know. And the judge was really great about it. Paid my fine. I been mowing grasses, doing odd jobs, things like that. I had money saved up, so I was able to pay that ticket. But the thing is that that's literally the most harmful thing I've ever been in trouble for. So, I mean, yeah, I do crazy things, the skydiving, the flying, the monster trucks, the working with reptiles and venomous snakes. Yeah, I know, Dave, my buddy Dave over there. Wish I could say that. LOL. I think you've been presented a couple of different pairs of chrome handcuffs, haven't you, Dave? Chrome bracelets, not handcuffs, chrome bracelets. So, that's the thing is if I'm not nowadays, if I'm not doing this, working on the laser, fighting with Roscoe, I'm at home. I'm a homebody. I like to do things around my house. I like to do my, I like to be with my family. I like to be around my wife. Been married 33 years. I mean, that's me. That's pretty much what they call it, a homebody. And the fact is that, if that's, I don't think that's going to be all that relevant if you're trying to dig up some real hateful dirt on somebody. That's pretty much how I've always been. Yeah, we go to a lot of concerts, we go to festivals, things like that. But when we're not doing that stuff, we stay around the house. We're together. We're doing things together. So that's how we do it. Let's see. Wow. Marjan, I believe that when people keep doing illegal stuff, it will come back on them one way or another. If you don't learn from your actions, yeah, it's going to come back to haunt you so many different ways. And you also have to remember, if you get a felony in most states, that pretty much cuts you off from so many things. You can't even be a security guard in most states if you have a felony. So yeah, it can haunt you in certain ways. But if it's something that you did when you were a kid, you learned from it, you moved on with your life, then you can, it won't have as dramatic an impact on you as you think it would. And you can learn from it. Just because you committed a crime doesn't make you a criminal. It's in my book, if you're a criminal, you're someone who repeatedly continues to commit those crimes, and you don't learn from it. You don't try to improve on yourself. You don't try to improve on the life of those around you. You continue to commit criminal acts, and you keep getting caught. You keep going to jail for it. Then, yeah, that starts making you a criminal, doesn't it? But if you're someone who makes a few mistakes in life and you learn from it, you move on, then that doesn't make you a criminal. It just means you did something that you regretted and you've moved on from it in life. So, let's see here. Dave, proud to say, not for over 20 years. Yeah, I mean, he still doesn't know how to properly care for a beard, but we're not gonna hurt on him for that. Nitnoy needs to get them scissors out and straighten old boy up. So, I'm joking, Dave. Let's see, Joel McCoy. My extensive criminal record is a speeding ticket in 1973. Not much of a rap sheet. I know. It's pretty funny. I've seen my criminal history because I've had to give it to departments when I get hired in, and you run my criminal history, and it's like name, address, identifiers, criminal history blank, end of report. It's hilarious stuff. Hey, Lori, what's going on? Let's see. One's regrets are never forgotten. One's successes are dust in the wind. And that's the thing. I was talking about the other day about having the MMA fighting, over 20 professional MMA fights. I lost 2 out of 20 fights, and I think. All right, Dave, are you having a live stream tonight? I learned more from 2 losses than I ever learned from a victory, and I think that's what it builds people is you don't learn. Okay, bud. I'll try to catch you in the next one. It's just been horribly busy around here, but you've got to learn, you've got to build, you've got to grow, and I think that's one of the things that really sets people. Oh, okay. He's got a house in a different area of Thailand from where he lives, and he's been doing a lot of content on that. It's pretty cool. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you don't try to move on from them, you're going to stay stagnant in pretty much everything that you do. There are going to be people that are going to say and do things that you may not like. They may hurt you, but you got to remember, everybody has a bad day. Everybody has a point in their life where everything's going wrong. With the police department, one of the things that we said was a common thing that quote that we would use is, the worst day of your life is another day in the office for me. And I think that really gives you an insight into how law enforcement is we're meeting with people at sometimes the most stressful, extreme times of their lives. And we have to learn to deal with people that are going through those situations. And we have to be able to provide a professional service for them as law enforcement. And if we don't, Roscoe, what are you doing? So if we don't, then what good is it? That's the thing, is you took on the mantle of being a police officer, and you took on the responsibility. Now, these are the kind of situations that you have to work in. I personally, in those kind of situations, that's when I come to light. That's when I'm at my best, is when I'm dealing with situations that normally I wouldn't have to, or most people wouldn't have to. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and they were talking about someone that they know who was a police officer, and this person was a police officer only 13 years, and they're suffering with PTSD for the rest of their life from it. And the thing is that, I don't suffer from that PTSD. And they were asking about, why it is that it's different for me than it would be for someone else. And the fact is that, everyone is made up differently. Everyone has different goals, different beliefs, different ethics in their life. And some people are made for this job, some people aren't. I was talking with Mark Fisher, and we were talking about the job itself, and the fact that most people, you hear a gunshot, they run from it. Police officers run to it. And that's the thing. is that we put ourselves in harm's way for the citizens, for the people that we are serving. And that's part of being a police officer, is that you have to be able to understand that you have to live with it. I've made the statement before that any person that I am going to step in front of, I'll probably never know who that person is. Guns pointed at them, I'm going to be the person that wants to step in front of someone else, block them. And, it could be anyone from someone here in the community that's, that I've known. It could be someone I've known my entire life, someone from the city that I know. It could be a crackhead. It could be a drug addict. But that's what is the drive in me, and that's the drive in most police officers, is it doesn't matter who you are. And I'm not saying these different names, different locations, things like that as this is what's going to happen. No, I'm giving examples. It could be anyone. And as a police officer, if that person's life is in danger, then I'm going to be the person who's willing to step in front of that person to take the brunt of whatever is threatening their life. And that's how most police officers are. There are bad police officers out there. I'm not going to argue that. I know that. You know that. There are bad police officers. There are people that should never have been police officers in the first place that held the badge. I can't do anything about that now. I'm retired. When I was a police officer, I did what I could. But the thing is that that's a very small fractional percentage point as compared to the police officers that are out there every day willing to risk their lives for you and wanting to do the best job. And, I hear people say, the thing is that you got a lot of people, well, that cop's a jerk, that cop's an a-hole, something like that. What did that officer go through just before they dealt with you? Everyone talks about the need for police officers to be understanding and caring, but nobody asks what's going on. Hey, Cassie, what's going on? But the thing is that police officer could have just come from a scene where a child had expired. They could have just seen some horrible event. And unlike a lot of people in their lives, they see something like that, they are able to get somewhere, get some help, go decompress. As police officers, oftentimes we're going to go from that scene to neighbors arguing over who put their trash cans out in the wrong spot or at the wrong time. All right. Those are the kinds of things. And it'll switch back and forth throughout the time that you're working. And you'll go from a major scene, you'll go quiet, major scene, quiet calls. And that's how it'll go. And, you can go days at a time without having to go to a single, you can go without going to a single, emergent call. And then suddenly the whole world seems like it's on fire. And that's part of the job. You have to be able to multitask it. You have to be able to handle it. Hey, Gary, what's going on? So for those of you who are just joining me now, and I know that there are other live streams going on, so I understand people not being able to get in. The thing is that I've talked about it before. I found out probably about 6 months ago that a private investigator was following me. And then when I found out who they were working for, when I spoke to other people within the ESP community, they told me that, they work for Scientology. And it'd been pretty quiet. Then I started noticing some strange things were going on with my computer. I have a forensic IT person who's looking at my computer, and they have confirmed, someone's been trying to hack into my computer, and it's been multiple times. There's a person in the SPT community I was talking about. Their websites, they've attempted to hack into it over 21,000 times. So this young fella's going to get in there and find out what's going on. And then about 2 days ago, I started getting notice from departments that I'd worked for that someone has filed FOIAs with at least 2 of the departments I worked for, wanting my complete record, wanting to know if I had ever been arrested, if the arrest reports on me, mugshots of me, things like that. I forgot to mention that. They asked for if there were any mugshots of me. Here, take it now. Okay, make you happy. So the thing is that someone's out there definitely trying to dig dirt on me. Good luck with that. I'm about the most boring person outside of the job and things like that. But that's what's been going on. I am waiting for some documentation to come in. I'm doing things the right way. I filed FOIAs to get copies of the FOIAs that were submitted against me, and I've also submitted FOIAs requesting to know the who the individual or organization that was going to pay for those FOIA requests. Laws are different in every state as it pertains to FOIAs, but my understanding is here in Michigan they can charge for FOIA requests. So that's the thing is we're trying to get all that. Once it happens, I'm going to be going on with Aaron Smith Levin, and we'll be doing a joint broadcast on it between his channel and mine. But I wanted to get this out there and let people know what's going on, and if it's happening to me, then who else is it happening to within the community? And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight as well. Let's see, local color. I can't blame bad cops anymore. I blame silly laws about selling drugs and gambling. If you ask cops to stop every dice game in Detroit, you're asking way too much. You know, that was the thing is that dice games were the least of our concerns and those kinds of things, and especially in Detroit. It's a 3 to 4 hour wait sometimes, even on emergent calls for the Detroit Police Department. So, yeah, dice games. If you're wanting them to stop all those, please have fun with that. So, I mean, it's a cardboard box up against a brick wall, and they take out one of the sides of the cardboard box and throw dice into it, and these games pop up literally like that, and they scatter like that. I have known many cops in my life, dozens of them. I think that most, like 90%, are good cops and good people. And that's the thing is that the police officer you're dealing with, 9 times out of 10, husband, father, sometimes grandfather. And they are, that's the thing is that they're human beings. And police officers go through a lot of hell. And it happens a lot. You just don't realize how often, I can't, I don't think there's been a week in my life as a police officer until I became chief of police that someone didn't at least try to spit at me once in a week. I mean, that's life as a police officer. I've had glass bottles thrown at it. We've respond to a call in the wrong neighborhood. And you'd have that rookie officer and you'd tell them, turn those lights off, because they'd come barreling in their lights and sirens. And next thing you know, a shower of glass bottles coming down on us. We would literally, in the morning time, we would literally go around these places and just with the DPW and collect garbage trucks full of glass bottles, because they'd have them all set up and ready to go for us. Yeah, that's one of the things I've been worrying about, Jennifer, is Jennifer says, make sure Roscoe stays safe. They have harmed dogs before. That's the allegations that we've heard and the thing is that my yard's clearly marked, no trespassing. And I have security cameras all the way around my house. And if, Roscoe, for the most part, Roscoe's a wild man. He's hard to control, but we're trying to keep a good eye on him. And it's not just because of that. There's been a lot of coyotes coming through our area recently. So we're being extra diligent about it. He doesn't go out when we're not out there with him or watching him. So, and I go out every day and I walk my yard and just see what's out there, because I'm looking for deer track. I'm looking for the fox tracks. I'm looking for different things in my yard. I throw pumpkins out there at this time of year, and I'll be throwing them all the way in until after temperature drops below zero. And I've got just a bunch of pumpkins in the garage, and I throw those out for the deer. I also go out and I've been looking a lot nowadays for coyote scat, coyote tracks, those kinds of things. So, if I'm in the garage, Roscoe goes out and he's in the backyard. So, he's always within eyesight of me, and I try to make sure that he's doing good. Yeah, I understand, local color, about the dice thing being a joke. It shows that, but that's the thing is that as a police officer, you've got to prioritize. You've got to prioritize what you're doing, and you've got to realize that what you're doing, how it affects the ability to answer other calls. And so that's one of the things, as getting into being a corporal and then a sergeant. One of your jobs is that you make sure that you go to all the different calls and you're checking on, what your officers are doing, what kind of things that they're doing. So an officer calls out on traffic stop. You as a corporal or a sergeant should be one of the first people that shows up to back them up. And you want to do that because there's a couple of reasons. You want to make sure they're doing the job right. You want to make sure everything's being taken care of. But you also want to make sure that they understand, hey, we've got 2 cars out on a DV call right now. Why are you pulling traffic? What is so important for you to write a ticket as compared to 2 officers that could be in a situation where they may need you to respond to it? Now, how are you going to be able to respond to back those officers up if you're out here on this traffic stop and suddenly you've got to arrest someone? So you pick your battles. And that's one of the big things as a supervisor or, as a senior officer, you want to be able to impress that upon your younger officers that are coming up. Once the general rule of thumb is you're a rookie until you hit about 5 years on the job. We call them, squeaking belts because the new leather belts squeak when they move around. But that's one of the things you want to pick and choose. You're there. You need to pass your experience, your knowledge on to these younger officers and help them to become a more productive, more successful officer. Let's see. Marjan, give me a little bit more on that one. I don't know which one you're talking about there. Asking about a police department and a manhunt. So, you got to remember, like I said, it's been just a crazy couple of weeks for me with a lot of things that are going on top of, we still got family life. Our son we're finally empty nesters. Our son, even though we didn't want it, he's finally living his life on his own. But it was the right time. He's been doing really good about making sure he's saving up, making sure he can financially take care of himself if need be. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how old the kids are. As a parent, it always weighs heavy on you. I mean, this shirt I'm wearing right here, give you an idea. I bought this for him at the Godzilla shop in Tokyo, Japan, and he grew too big for it. So it ended up being my shirt. But, and that was 6 years ago now when I first took him there. So, yeah, it doesn't matter how big they are, how strong they are, how smart they are. You still worry about them. So, all right, folks. Well, I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. She's talking about the guy in Maine who was arrested and released and did the same thing again. And
oh wow.
With that, I'm looking into that. I'm waiting for a lot of the information to come in on that because I want to do a story about that. I do an actual live stream about that one as well, talking about what's going on with that case and how this happened. But if you look, I mean, you had so many people, they were out in the streets, they were marching, they were actually painting the streets to defund the police. What's happening in major cities across this country where they've done that? Crime is absolutely off the hook. And people say, well, no. If you don't have people fearing that they can go to jail, if you're light on crime, then why would anybody worry about committing a crime? All right. The fact is that we have laws, we have punishment for a reason. And it's those reasons that keep people from going out there and making these stupid mistakes that could ruin their life. Because you get away with doing this crime, but the next one that you do because you got away with it, now you're looking at decades in prison. And it could have been handled if you were just worried about the fact you could go to jail in the first place. Defunding the police, taking that ability to enforce the law away, it opens the door for the criminals. And you look at these cities that all these major corporations, you've got Target, Starbucks, Walmart, all these different major corporations that are leaving these cities. They're talking about in New York City that a good majority of the big retail frauds that are going on, retail theft, going into stores and stealing everything, are being done by one group of people. They're an organized group that are doing this. And people say, oh, no, it's not happening. Then when the proof is presented, well, but it's on par with other cities across the country. Yeah, they're all having trouble right now. Chicago had a mass exodus of police officers. And now we have a DA, I believe it was in New Orleans, who was soft on crime, didn't want people having cash bonds. He and his mother were just the victims of a carjacking. Maybe if the point of there was no kind of punishment that was going to come down, that they actually had to pay a cash bond, they actually had to go to jail, we actually had properly staffed police departments, this wouldn't have happened. And there were those saying, well, we need more counselors, we need this. They've already tried that in other cities. And you know what happened is you had the counselors, you had the unarmed security ambassadors, as they're calling them in one city, standing there while people were beating each other up, while people were getting robbed. Why? They couldn't do anything about it. No one was there. In one situation, they saw a carjacking go down, an armed carjacking. A social worker is not going to be able to talk someone out of that. And I would be really surprised to find the social worker that would walk up on that person with a gun that is carjacking someone. All right. I'm not talking about the fact that police are armed and all that. I'm talking about the simple fact of, if we take away the ability to patrol our communities and keep them safe, how can anyone be surprised that our communities aren't safe? You've got to have that factor there. And I agree with Dumbo Octopus. The fact is that our mental health system is in shambles in this country. You have a lot of people who seriously need mental health. They need help with their psychiatric problems. And there's none there. If you don't have the insurance or the money to pay for it, then how are you going to get that help? All right. We have homelessness is such a huge problem in this country. And there doesn't seem to be any real answers coming from any of the bureaucrats or politicians. They form these homeless associations and dump tons of money into it. Well, what's happening? Why would they try to end the homeless problem if they're making 100, 200 grand a year on homelessness? I find it amazing that, they're wondering why homelessness still exists, and it's even worse than it was with these organizations that are getting millions of dollars in government funding to help with homeless situation. Yeah, Joel, that's right. I've said it how many times on here? What's normal?
Right. Yep, I agree.
The fact is, I'm not normal. I don't know anybody that I know is absolutely normal. We all got our quirks about us. We all got our problems. So, all right, folks. Well, we're going to wind this down. Like I said, once I get the paperwork in and I have the information, not only am I going to announce who the person is that's been sending in these FOIAs, but we'll also know who the payment was being made by for them as well. And I'm not just going to say it. I'm going to have the documents to prove it. So, Chad, anything before we head out tonight, bud?
No, I just thank you for bringing us to LiPo, and it was a great pleasure.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said before, you're part of the family. You're part of the team here. So, having something like this, I want to make sure that you're here as well, and that we can get this information out there. As always, I try to present an honest, open, transparent conversation with things. There are things that sometimes I just can't talk about, and I also have to be very careful what I say here on this platform, because it's very easy to end up with getting yourself, as I said, every video that I do, Chad and I did a live stream with Chad. No one else got hit with a community guideline violation, but I did. And it wasn't even on my channel. I went on Chad's channel. It was one of those pre-shows with you. So,
you got hit. That's ridiculous, Bo.
Even on the Mark Fisher one, the Russell Miller one, they all got hit with community guideline violations. So yeah, and Mark Fisher was talking to me about it the other day about it used to be you could get these when you put your videos in, they were gone through and checked and everything was good in just a matter of like an hour or less, but now it's taken up to a day to get them gone through, and then you'll get the notification a day later after everybody's watched it. So sorry, I don't mean to rant about that, but sometimes it just frustrates me more than other things do. So all right, folks, you know how it goes. You get one shot at it. Life is short. Make it count.